Hey there, Parker Reed here, and welcome to PR Media, your home for everything movies and music through my eyes. And today we have a review of the brand new David Lowery film, The Green Knight. King Arthur's headstrong nephew embarks on a daring quest to confront the Green Knight, a mysterious giant who appears at Camelot. Risking his head, he sets off on an epic adventure to prove himself before his family and the court. Going into watching this movie, I was really excited for it because director David Lowery, I loved his last movie, A Ghost Story. I mean, look at this, I freaking have a Ghost Story tattoo, so obviously I'm a fan of his. And I'm also a huge fan of David Patel and Alicia Vikander, who are the two leads in this movie. And it's an A24 movie, so obviously my expectations were quite high. If you don't know anything about this movie, and you've never seen any of the trailers, because even I hadn't seen the trailer very many times, it is not your typical type of film. Sure, King Arthur, Excalibur, the Knights of the Round Table, they're all in this movie, but this is not your typical sword and stone kind of movie. It's not going to be your typical King Arthur tale. It focuses on his nephew, and I don't think King Arthur's name is even mentioned more than a couple times, and he's not even in the movie for that long. And if I had to describe The Green Knight in just a couple of words, I would say it's an art house fantasy film. This movie is not going to be for everybody. It's slow, it's very ambiguous, and it doesn't give you all the answers. It doesn't spoon feed anything to you, and sometimes it's even a bit too ambiguous, which is something I'll get to a little bit later, but I really did enjoy The Green Knight, so let's get into some specifics here, and spoiler warning, because I'm sure I'm going to go over some spoilers here. My favorite thing about The Green Knight is the cinematography. It's inventive, it's beautiful, it's breathtaking, and I cannot believe something like this got released in 2021 on a budget of $15 million. This movie looks expensive. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was like a $50 or $60 million film. The landscapes are lush and vibrant and varied. At some points it looks like Blade Runner 2049. At some points it looks like The Lord of the Rings. Everything in between. And all that great cinematography is accompanied by Daniel Hart's score, and oh, it's fantastic. If this comes out on vinyl, I'm 100% buying it and just sit in my nice cozy chair and brood a little bit. It is incredibly immersing. There's a lot of operatic sections of it, and it really ties you into this more subdued fantasy world. This isn't Lord of the Rings. You're not going to get any big battles at Helm's Deep. It's very much a character study, so before you go to see this, just know that. Another strong aspect of The Green Knight and David Lowery's work in general is the fact that it deals with a lot of morality and a lot of deeper themes, and in this movie we're focusing on King Arthur's quest, and basically he goes on this journey and he's faced with the 5 knightly virtues, and he just keeps failing, and it's a really hard struggle for him. It's a coming of age tale, and by the end of the movie those themes are really starting to hit home, but the ending is ambiguous and it will be divisive for some viewers. But I really enjoyed the storyline overall, but there were a few aspects of this movie I felt could have been a little bit stronger. The first aspect that I didn't love is the fact that it's just overly ambiguous for the sake of it. Even towards there's a end credit scene and the ending, I thought it was a bit too ambiguous for its own good. Because we were dealing with that for the entire movie and the entire runtime, I really would have wanted them to just, give me a few answers, spoon feed me just a little bit. And in addition to that, the fact that it's ambiguous isn't always bad, but sometimes there's just some leaps in logic that aren't on screen, and if you watch some ending explain videos or something, you might get those answers, but it wasn't explained in the film, and I would have appreciated to have those parts of the plot and the story make a little bit more sense. By a certain point, you have to be Albert Einstein a little bit to understand what's going on. So I understand some of the criticisms of this movie, saying it's a little bit too artsy-fartsy, it's up its own ass a little bit, but when you have an overcrowded genre of film like fantasy, especially sword and stone and Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings and all that shit, obviously you need something left of center, and I think The Green Knight delivered that. Did it always hit? No, but when it does hit, it hits home hard, and by the end of the movie I was really feeling it. I was feeling the emotional tug that they wanted me to feel, and I think this is one of my favorite movies of 2021 so far. I did myself a little bit of a disservice going into this movie by watching a couple reviews, so I knew a little bit of what to expect, but I do like slower films, and A Ghost Story is one of the slowest films of all time, so the fact that this movie even resembles it a little bit, it also resembles Blade Runner 2049 quite a bit. I love both those films, and I did like The Green Knight a lot. I think I need to see it another time just to fully immerse myself in it and fully understand it and know what it's going for the whole time, and maybe I'll even appreciate it more at that second viewing. So my final rating for David Lowery's The Green Knight is a solid 8.5 out of 10. This would be a recommendation for me, but if you're not into art house movies, if you're not into slower movies, and you're just looking for Game of Thrones and King Arthur land in this film, it's not going to be here. You're going to end up walking out with your popcorn half full and your soda 4/5 full and just a heart full of disappointment. So have your expectations in check, but if they are in check, I think you're really going to enjoy The Green Knight. I think it's going to only get better with time and repeat viewings. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw here, you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram, and like, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. My name is Parker Reed. You've been watching PR Media. Keep supporting physical media, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
That is why a knight does what he does.
Are you ready?